Amnesty International has raised an alarm over fatal stampedes at Christmas palliative venue that claimed over 60 lives, lamenting that millions of Nigerians are on the brink of starvation and deep poverty under President Bola Tinubu's watch. This week, 65 people died across Nigeria at rice-sharing stampedes. Ibadan, 35 children died. Okija, 20 people died. Abuja, 10 people died. Amnesty International said in a statement on Saturday. They continue to say millions of people are on the brink of starvation, widespread malnutrition and deep poverty. The human rights organization called on Mr. Tinubu's government to address rising widespread hunger, poverty and unemployment in the country while calling for thorough investigations into various stampedes recorded in the past 1 week. President Bola Tinubu's government must urgently prioritize addressing widespread hunger, higher unemployment, and the rapidly falling standard of living, Amnesty International said. Bayo Onanuga, the presidential spokesperson, said in a statement on Saturday that the president has cancelled the scheduled event in honor of victims of the stampede. This comes amid waves of different fatal stampedes recorded at palliative distribution venues in Ibadan, Anambra and Abuja in the past 1 week. Last week, about 35 children were killed in Ibadan, while at least 38 people were confirmed dead Saturday after rice-sharing activities led to stampedes in Anambra and Abuja. Very sad story there. Jamala, what is your reaction to this?
First, let me commiserate with the families of those who from Ibadan, Anambra, and Okija. It's so unfortunate that the benevolence of these persons, like the Obijasi Foundation, the Catholic Church in Maitama, and the other organization in Ibadan that decided to...
The former Olori.
Yeah.
Yes, the former his wife, yes. Their kind benevolence turned out to
tragedy.
Tragedy, yes. I think that's where my concern lies. Is a true reflection, the statement of Amnesty is a true reflection of what exists currently in our society, in Nigeria. These are cities. The places these events happen, if you look at the one in Abuja, Maitama, one of the eyebrow areas in Abuja, but yet we have poverty knocking at the door of everyone. We have not even gone to the village. I'm even trying to see what political parties in the name of distributing Christmas legacies or palliatives, what will happen in our various communities. Remember, last year in Rivers State, somewhere in one of the Kwere villages, something of this sort happened where some women also died, some sustained injuries. And for Bayo Nanuga to say they respect the governor, the president has for this person
is to cancel events.
Cancel. We are trivializing issues here. First,
death of women and children.
Death of women, children, citizens of Nigeria, 65 recorded. So there might be those who are in the hospital
it could be under-recorded, by the way.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. For the records, we have 65. Some were badly injured in the hospital. We have not been told whether some of them have also passed through that line and some have recovered. Now, if the cancellation of the trip to wherever by the president is a plus to Bayo Nanuga, I see them, they do not live in the same class as we are. So, for Bayo Nanuga, he lives in the presidency where everything is provided for. He moves with the president in convoys where there are no traffic jam anywhere for him to see.
The road is cleared
ahead of time. You know, the cycle man will go clear the road before the executive will come. So that is the life they live. And you coming out to tell them there is poverty in the land. It does appear you are speaking from a biased mind, a politically paid analyst to tell them that there is poverty in the land. And that is what our politicians, I don't know if you are married that of Obi. So we are removing the message, placing the messenger. And so because this person, I do not like you, whatever that comes from you, whether it is true or false, I don't want to listen at all. There is poverty in the land, and it is high time government takes steps to see how this poverty can be reduced. The years of governance has begun to, we are entering 2025. We are moving into the years of politics. The first 2 years of every political office holder is for governance. The next 2 years is to sustain that power. So they are political years. And so if there is the president has not done anything in these first 2 years, I doubt whether the next 2 remaining years, being political years, something can be done positively. Unless maybe the foundation that he has so far in quote laid will begin to give us some fruits, positive fruits that we can harvest on. But let the Nigerian society, the president, the state governors, and even the local government look into how can we bring down the sufferings of Nigerians. Because it's written clearly on virtually all the faces of Nigeria. Somebody I called yesterday, the person said, you are complaining. I called you to complain, and you are complaining. So what do you want me to say again? I say, wow. So that is the impression that you people have. The poor is complaining. The rich in Nigeria is also complaining. So it's a system of governance.
Interesting. Ugochukwu, what do you make of this?
It's very sad. I join other women Nigerians, like Barrister Gifting and Jamale, to commiserate with the families, the mothers. Most of those children that have passed on now, their Christmas clothes have been ready. The family have made arrangements to factor them into the eating and the funfair that will go around with this festive season. It's really sad that most families in Nigeria has been thrown into mourning. And this mourning period is really unnecessary. We have been crying on this platform that ATN, Atlantic Television Network, gave us. I've been crying on Wish FM, the sister radio station of ATN. I've been crying on Today FM and most other platforms that we feature and say that Nigerians don't need handouts. We don't need palliative. This is what the government of Muhammadu Buhari, transmitted to President Bola Tinubu. If you see the quantum of money that was expended in the Ministry of Humanitarian, the so-called humanitarian affairs, you begin to shed tears for this country, and we are still wallowing in abject poverty. Remember, these handouts started even when no less a person, Loresh have stated it here, this is the often time, that no less a person in the person of Professor Oshibajo, I'll continue to mention his name, and there's a very wrong reason that he when his chopper came down, it was because of the cash stashed in that particular chopper that he went for sharing of trader money. A whole number 2 citizen of a country. What a shame. What a shame. Went to share money with people, to traders, and he was giving handout and they were taking pictures. This is the kind of politics we see in Nigeria and what has kept us and resulted to what we are seeing today. I am even so baffled that Bayonaniga did not throw jabs. I begin to condemn Amnesty International as people who are now, they are always at the corner of always chastising Nigeria and throwing things out of proportion. That was when I saw his name, I was expecting to, just that when we did communication in English, when somebody is eulogizing you and you see but, the next one is in the negative. When you start with the negative and you see but, the other one is in the positive. So I was thinking that he was going to condemn and drag Amnesty International for painting Nigeria in the bad light before the international community. What is the concern of the parents that have lost their children, the communities that have been thrown into mourning, that the president is cancelling his official engagement or funfair engagement, because I'm meant to understand he's no longer in Aso Rock, he's in Lagos. So whatever he's doing there now is catching cruise. So the Nigerian flag is not flowing at half-mast. You have not set up a committee to go and investigate and liaise with the state government, with those agencies that organize those things in order to find out the immediate and remote causes of what happened. Is it crowd management or what? And what is even the food? Like in River State, the commissioner of health, Dr. Oria, he said that before you organize any medical outreach, that you must liaise with her office to know what you're going to give out and the reason why you must gather people and the quantum of what you're going to do, and they will not satisfy the healthiness of what you're going to transmit to people, which is apt. The federal government have not told us that, okay, the commission or the Ministry of Emergency or NEMA or whatever has gone to Edo State, Anambra State and FCT to now liaise with those people that organize the so-called Christmas giveaway gift. They did that with a good intention. And the crowd management, as I read in Oyo State, was not well handled. And again,
it was planned for
5,000 and then showed up, and even at that, you remember what caused the one in that happened in River State last year was also this crowd mismanagement.
That of course.
But yes,
King's Assembly.
The King's Assembly.
Yes.
The same. So now you have 5,000 and 7,005 is appearing, but look at, they say children, parents and adults appeared, and we are even also struggling to gain entry. In order to get a patre 5,000, what can a 5,000 do? What can those gifts do? So this is where Barrister Jamala came out and said that what is all these things that the president has been putting in place, the policies will yield fruit, the policies will do this, where have he gotten us? There was a report I was listening to last week that a child of 9 years, 8 to 9 years, picked a phone and called 911 when there was a shootout. I don't know if you have had it in one school or is it a shopping mall. Somebody entered, a 15-year-old child entered and was shooting people sporadically. It was a 9-year-old that took a phone and called 911. Look at the children, the prospects. I don't know whether the Nigerian state is turning to the Catholic Church, with all due respect. In Catholic Church, the church is hierarchical. They start from top to bottom. But in a given society, we are meant to understand that the children are being cared for even from when the conception takes place. That is why Trump is fighting against abortion. When conception takes place, that is where what they call antenatal and whatnot, where the woman will be guided until that child gives birth. On 25th of December, now, most state governors and their wives will go to clinics and hospitals and begin to gift the first child of the year. But these are the ones that we have, and the society could not protect them. The society could not even feed them, provide for their parents to feed them. Because if majority of the Nigerian parents have what it takes to take care of the children, they won't be struggling for a patre 5,000.
When you talk about society, now it has a lot to do with the policies of government.
That is what.
In this instance,
yes.
And the society is as the receiving end of whatever policies that the government comes up with. Now let's look at. You cannot discuss inflation in this particular administration without discussing the cost of diesel and PMS and how it has trickled down to literally everything.
Yes.
Now, even with the NNPC coming out to say they have reduced the price of fuel pump, logistics is still increasing. There is still inflation. Currently, to travel from one end to another, even within the state, it's so ridiculously expensive. In fact,
not within the state, within the city of Port Harcourt.
Within the intra-city
it's so
movement.
ridiculously expensive that transportation now, a lot of people, the so-called minimum wage does not cover transportation in a month in River State, for instance. And then you're not even looking at feeding. Survive transportation to even go to work to get the salary.
Salary.
Yes. You now realize that it appears that everything Nigerians are doing, Nigerians are working for NNPC and the oil and gas sector.
Yes, there is a sense to that.
Those are the hem of affairs.
When you have a car you're driving, the moment your car, you buy fuel of 20,000 naira and
It leads you to nowhere.
And then you now look at power supply right now is
very
with the consistent national grid collapse, which right now is not even making a lot of sense to me, and some of the excuses they are coming up with to me still doesn't make a lot of sense, because I mean these things have been existing prior to this time. Now at the end of the day, Nigerians will still have to generate power themselves. And you generate power by what? Going back to buy the same fuel in order to run your business, in order to preserve. You will not spend money to buy foodstuff. You spend more than you have spent to buy that foodstuff to preserve that foodstuff from spoiling.
Yes.
Like Nigerians can't take a breath. Like we can't.
That's Nigerians why I continue to eulogize Nigerian parents.
At this point, Jamala. Now, you look at. Have you seen when school closes? The level of, I mean, children trekking. Even underage children, that you know that this child has no business
trekking.
That child is trekking. Sometimes most of them are now unchaperoned because their parents ordinarily, who might maybe have time, some leisure time to go and pick them from school, now they don't even have that time, because they need every minute counts to get money to at least, not even, Nigerians are not talking about 3 square meals a day now. If you happen to eat one, how much is round bread? That's more or less size of bread. 300 and something.
50 naira.
350 naira.
So 400 now.
So, and now, a loaf of bread now is about 1,005.
Which is not even healthy.
No, 1,005 can feed a family of 3. 1,009, 1,008.
A loaf of bread cannot go for breakfast in a family.
Yes.
Jamala, I should be asking you people that are married and have children, how are you coping actually? I think, has anybody genuinely asked you that question? And it's coming from my heart actually. How are you coping genuinely?
You want to take us to religious life?
No, because
I see, Choma, what you have reeled out so far is not far from what Amnesty International are telling us. Starvation. When you see a typical riverine man, they come out looking so shiny, but when troubles, when the need for responsibility comes his way, you see that shining, looking, handsome man or woman.
Appearance is not reality.
Appearance is not reality. Now, for those of the families, Choma, you said fuel of, before when I started driving, 3,000 naira fuel will last me for 2 days.
10,000 naira.
As a young lawyer,
9,000 naira fuel will fuel your car.
As a young lawyer, then my 3,000 naira will take me for 2 days, which I will make 1 or 2 to add up, then comfortably buy again. Now a fuel of 20,000 will not take me around my trips in Port Harcourt. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Yes, I'm lucky now. Where I'm living, we have lights.
Oh,
so for any day there is no light, and my daughter cannot sleep without light. So I'm ready to spend 15,000 naira for 1 night.
Say it again, please.
To buy PMS that will take me at least till
6 hours.
5 o'clock. No, from 7 till 5.
Okay.
That the weather somehow would have somehow reduced. You spend 15,000 naira. How much do you earn, Loretta? If you are to spend 15,000 naira in fuel for generator, then 15,000 naira in
for your
vehicle
for maximum 2 days max. Maybe because I don't really drive around.
So in a week, there's this petrol station I stumbled into. They gave me a slip that whenever you buy, they record for you.
I'll need that link.
Whenever you buy, they record for you. Do you know, at the end of a month, I looked at what I have expended buying fuel alone. I was marveled.
Yes.
I've done that. I've stopped doing that. Because I did that.
There's a sense it drives somebody insane.
It drives one insane.
I did that for 1 week, and I remember I came on my show and I ranted. I took the liberty of time towards the end of the show to rant because it wasn't making sense to me at that point in time. I was buying, that was even when fuel was about 1,000 plus. So I was buying fuel, 20,000
yes.
to 2 days, and I have to come to work from Monday to Sunday. So like in a week, just for my car,
three times.
At least 3 times, and by Monday the next day it's on reserve. So now that's 3 times 60,000 naira. And then I really had to buy fuel 15,000 naira daily for my generator, because I had taken the liberty of, okay, National Adelabu said the power, and really it did improve. So I now said, okay, let me save some money, and I went and bought half of a goat and now stored in the freezer with the parts. And unfortunately, National Grid collapsed. So I now had to
resort back to the buying of fuel
generator every day.
Yes, in order to sustain it.
And I sat down, and there was a gaping hole, because for crying out loud, I work legitimately. So I don't have the liberty of getting money. I'm not a politician, you know. So I felt the weight for 1 week. Now, how do parents? That's why I'm asking real-time questions. That these people apparently are not paying attention.
No, the government, they are not in touch.
The government, that's why I say there is a very big gap.
Now, the only way you can,
the government,
the only way you
and the lead.
Jamala, the only way you can even try to say, okay, let me save some, you know, in feeding, is by stock buying. Now,
when you
can't
buy
something, you can't preserve them. So now we are between the devil and the deep blue sea. To go forward, you go backward, you even stand. You say, okay, let me stand.
Laurentia, you know, on 2 occasions I came to ATN and my show was cut short. And do you remember the day I literally shedded tears on this national radio, national television, because of what the management of ATN is going through? No wonder they said there was a time CNN was floated and appealed for public funds to sustain. There was a time, because most of the radio stations now cannot go 24 hours. I know only few in River State, in Port Harcourt now, because I'm an ardent listener with the sound of a radio station or television. I'll tell you,
do you know how
this is the name of the television. Do you know how many
televisions that have shut down?
That is what I'm saying.
Recent times in Nigeria.
So now you see that you remember when NBC was busy finding some television stations. I came here and said, you're finding them with the meager gain they are doing that is being plunged back into buying diesel.
Media is not profitable.
Yeah, it's nothing. I was discussing with the CEO of this ATN. I said, sir, kudos to you. It's not easy what they are paying, and they are paying. They're the highest employer. All these SMEs and the medium scale industry are the private sector we're talking about in Nigeria that are paying people. But the monies they are making are going back to buying diesel. I want to call on the federal government, NNPC and the Dangote, as we are entering 2025, make concerted effort in trying to stabilize this price of PMS and diesel, because
you are going too far.
Yes, the truth is that no business survives in Nigeria without a backup.
You are going too far. Our problem started election March. Was it March? February 25th also, or thereabout, when the election was conducted.
The national election
was conducted, and Tinubu was announced the winner, and he said subsidy is gone. That was when our problem.
Yeah, that's 29th of May.
Not 29th of May when he entered.
Okay, he has it in mind already.
It was when he was making his acceptance speech.
Okay.
He said subsidy is gone. He reiterated at the inauguration.
Oh, wow.
So before May 29th,
and that we started buying. That was pandemonium.
Before May 29th of 2019, 19, right? 2023, we started buying fuel in the 800, 900.
What say we look for him?
Yes, what said so. But this
budget, didn't understand it then.
Budget for that year was to run till July ending, or June ending, or thereabout.
June ending.
So what happened?
There was still time.
So it took the decision of one man, and that same man
get us to where we are.
That same man can still correct what he has done. For whatever reason, what government need to do at that time was to see how they can checkmate the corruption in the
oil and gas sector,
in the subsidy regime, program. It's that corruption. Nigeria cannot be said, citizens of Nigeria cannot be spending 61 million liters of PMS a day. It is not true. Prior to the subsidy, they are talking about 13 million. All of a sudden, Nigeria has increased to 61 million liters.
Many people have parked their cars
liters.
Yes.
And so they were taking this product, selling it to neighboring countries, putting the bill on Nigeria.
Nigeria to pay.
When you look at it on the other hand, prior to this fuel subsidy removal, yes, there was epileptic power supply, but it's not as bad
as it is now.
It is, Jamala, it is not as bad as what is obtainable right now. This is a situation where for the past 3 days where I live, I have not seen a flash of lights, and I am running. I have to power my house for the past 3 days.
It's a pity. Maybe
now,
I am not experiencing that.
At the end of the day,
we are maybe the fortunate Nigerians who live where they have what they call the bad.
We used to have lights. We used to have light, but suddenly, I mean, with the last national grid collapse, every national grid collapse, somehow we survived it. Every national, we still don't. It still comes, but the moment
it's
restored,
yes,
we're back. We are back to business. But with this last one, I mean, we have not had light, and it is growing.
I hope the collapsing didn't lead to the interment of that your life.
I pray. I hope not, Jamala. Please don't give me high blood pressure. I pray, because now when you look at it now, you now find out that it is also possible that there is increased usage of PMS, because businesses must run.
Businesses must run. In Nigeria, must have a backup.
Businesses must run, and
of
businesses
course.
In Nigeria
heavily relies on generator.
And now you're looking at dollar volatility. How are SMEs surviving? Now you're looking at dollar volatility against the naira. You're looking at increased cost of logistics. You're looking at the cost of, even landlords are increasing.
Unwholesome taxes from even the government.
We are not even.
That is multiple
taxation from the state, from the local, from the federal,
from the community,
and from the communities as well. And then you now come back to, after you have done all these things, you now have to still generate your power.
Your own power.
And you still
pay
have
your own
to
security.
pay. You still have to pay overhead costs.
We are looking. When I was doing my masters in UST, Professor Jack Osimiri said we are local government.
We are local governments on our own, of course. My senior brother said that.
And by the time he explained, I agree.
You understood.
You have just read out what you provide for yourself.
Your own water.
Are you not a local government?
You provide your own water. You provide your own light.
So basically, what is the benefit of being a Nigerian at this point?
The benefit of being a Nigerian is that you're anti-Nigerian.
Except the fact that luckily we do not suffer natural disaster.
But our disasters are our leaders.
Imagine that we have natural disasters in addition to what we
have. It's better we have natural disasters that the government will come through.
Our system can manage.
The government will come through for us. It's better. Like in Philippines, when they're having typhoon, those are the lowland are being evacuated
immediately,
so that after the typhoon, the government builds their tents back and they return them back. But when after Nigeria, I've told you here that when I was studying in UK, one of our lecturers said, the priest lecturer, he said that they envy Nigeria. When you come there, they ask you, is your father this and that? They say, what are you coming to do here? You have everything. Those that have traveled, they hear it from the so-called developed nations. They know. They now ask you, what are you doing here? That when after God created the whole world, people were envious of Nigeria. I continue to make this analogy. They were complaining to God, why do you love these people so much? Why did God say I can't retrieve what I've given them? Because what is, apart from Congo Democratic, Nigeria is the next nation that God blessed so massively. What he buried in our belly, in the belly of our land, is that. So they say that, Laurentia, they say that our own tsunami, God said, don't worry, our own tsunami, our own is our leadership. And that has been our bane in Nigeria. Look at the successive administrations. Where are we? We are even moving 10 steps backwards in each administration that has come to talk hope into our lives. So this is it. So the Nigerian system is not abating our sufferings.
Right.
And those the natural resources that God has given us has turned out to be our undoing. Look at gold in Nigeria even.
We're out of time.
Gold, you're talking about petroleum. Look at gold.
But we're out of time. Jamala, your closing statement.
My closing statement, government should take serious about the citizens. It's not all about politics. Yes, you may play politics to find yourself at the apex, but when you've gotten there, please, look down. Even in heaven, which of these, is it Lazarus?
Lazarus.
And the rich man.
And the rich man.
Yes.
The rich man was able to look up to heaven and saw Lazarus. The rich man was able to look down on earth and saw his people. Let our leaders who have risen to the apex consider the masses. The world they live is far different from the world the masses are living. And thank God, Amnesty International is not a political party. Like you said, I was thinking Bayo Nanuga will say Amnesty International have made themselves an annexure of political parties or oppositions.
That was what I was.
But thank God he never said so. So yes, there is sense to what they have admitted. There is starvation, hunger in the land. It is the policies of government that will take away this starvation, this hunger in the land.
All right, very good.